We've had trouble getting a handle on building number 7, NIST's Dr. Shimon Saunder acknowledged to New York Magazine over 2 years ago. David Topete asked why no other nearby buildings collapsed when some were much more severely damaged by fire and Twin Tower debris. NIST's recent report blames one buckling column, number 79, for World Trade Center 7's global and nearly symmetrical collapse, yet characterizes World Trade Center 7's fires as normal office fires, which only burn 20 minutes in any given location before moving on. Obeid rejects the suggestion that one failing column could pull adjacent columns down. It is not possible for a local failure within the local structure to spread horizontally, he wrote recently. Such a failure would cause a breakaway instead of pulling the structure with it. Even if NIST's horizontal progression was somehow triggered, Obeid said, the building would not have collapsed so neatly and symmetrically. All core columns have to be severed at the same time to make such a collapse. Disturbing questions that must be answered. To preserve America's unprecedented freedoms, Clayton Simmons says, we must pursue the truth. He is troubled by my profession's involvement in the apparent cover-up and media's refusal to address important questions. Scott, too, expresses wonder that the structural engineer's response has been amazingly muted, even uninterested. Rice found that politicians also lacked interest. Many people remain willfully ignorant, writes Genesaris. They believe that 9/11 does not affect their lives, regardless of the fact that our freedoms are being taken away from us. Perhaps few are questioning, Brookman says, because it's painful to look directly at the events and consider the implications. William Acree, a physical engineer, believes that the engineer's oath to hold public safety above all else demands that they raise questions. If 3 modern steel high-rises really underwent total progressive collapse in less than 2 hours of fire, merely because of the fires and some damage to the fireproofing, we need to understand why, Scott writes. If World Trade Center 7 failed from a localized fire event, Inman asks, why didn't the owners and insurers sue the designers? Either the building design was criminally faulty or the causes was not related to the structural design or fire brought down World Trade Center 7, he says. Why should science-based forensic evidence be taboo? From all across America and from Australia, Canada, the UK, and France, the structural engineers we spoke with for this article joined more than 675 other architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth in calling for a new investigation into the catastrophic destruction of the 3 World Trade Center high-rises on September 11th, 2001. The implications of the controlled demolition hypothesis are outlined on the AE911truth.org website are staggering, says founding member Richard Gage. We therefore invite all Americans to examine the science-based forensic evidence very carefully and come to their own conclusions. Lamba's conclusion, drawn from his initial perceptions and validated by subsequent developments, is clear. Even if, for the sake of discussion, we accept the hypothesis that the fire protection was damaged and the fire somehow weakened the steel frames, that still does not explain the relatively concentric nature of the failures. Scott challenges his fellow structural engineers. The building performance on 9/11 matched controlled demolition. It does not match fire-induced collapse. We have the expertise to discern this. Do we have the courage to broadcast it? And I'm broadcasting it to you right now. I want to thank you for listening to this special report. The PDF of this report is available right at the website harrythomas.info under the documents section. I want to encourage you to investigate 9/11 for yourself and then share that information with everybody you know so that we can awaken the public to this crime and bring the perpetrators to justice for the sake of the 9/11 victims, the first responders, and their families. all the men and women who are fighting wars behind this war of terror that sprouted from 9/11. They deserve justice. The American people deserve justice. And we need to reclaim the honor that it is to be an American, to speak the truth, to be for liberty and freedom. Together, we will make a difference. I want to thank you for listening to this special report. All the information that is talked about can be found at harrythomas.info.